Sight reading is a great skill for any pianist. It enables you to explore the entire piano literature firsthand. But many pianists are intimidated when asked to sight read, afraid that they will play wrong notes or appear incompetent. But with the right approach, learning to sight read is easier than you may think. And there are no secrets or fast tricks to sight reading, but there are tried and true methods that work. And when it comes to sight reading, the easiest approach really is the smarter and more efficient path forward. Welcome to the Baker Piano Studio, providing piano tutorials to take your playing up to the next level. I've been teaching piano for over 35 years, and I've sight read in over 2,000 rehearsals with instrumentalists, choirs, and singers while preparing for performances. In this video, I'm excited to share with you a bunch of tips to get you started on sight reading. So let's get right into it. And what is sight reading anyway? Sight reading is taking a piece of music you've never seen before, taking a moment to look it over, and then playing as you're reading it for the first time. And students often ask, what music should I use to develop sight reading? My first tip is to select music that you can sight read through without making too many mistakes or having to constantly stop and start. Attempting to sight read music that's too complex will only lead to tedious hunting and pecking at notes, and that really doesn't build up your sight reading skill. So starting with easy-to-read music really is the smarter approach. If you're a complete beginner or at the elementary level, I recommend using a graded sight reading series from publishers such as Piano Marvel or Faber. These publications guide you from one grade level up to the next at a very smooth and unforced pace, and I'll provide links to them below. And for those at the intermediate to advanced stages, choose music that is 2 or 3 levels below your current technical level. In fact, I encourage you to select music that you think is too easy and start there, and for a reason. That way you cultivate an approach that's confident and free-flowing. So if that means starting at the beginner level, that's perfectly fine. Remember, nobody's watching or judging you. Once you've selected the right level of music for you, don't play it just yet. Instead, always take a moment to visually scan through the music to get an idea of what to expect, and that will definitely make your sight reading go much easier. When it comes to sight reading, the rule is the same as when diving into a swimming pool. Look before you leap. As you visually scan through the music, look for groups of notes that form patterns, and look for rhythmic patterns. Now here's a couple of easy examples to look at. These dances by Beethoven are clear examples of patterns that are easy to identify right away. The left-hand configuration is what we call an Alberti bass, and the configuration repeats over and over again. The only thing that changes is that this is basically an F major chord if we play the notes all together. F, C chord to F, 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 C, F, 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 C, F. Great, you have the pattern established right in front of you before you even begin to play. The right hand has a tune mostly in thirds. All the way to the end of the 8th measure. The pattern is laid out very clearly, so before you play a note, you already know what to expect. Here's another example. We have Schumann's The Wild Horseman, written in 6/8 time, but playing it in 6 even beats per measure would definitely slow down that horse ride. 6/8 time signatures are usually in 2 groups of triplets, and we want to play with that rhythmic pulse. Again, count 2 measures before playing, and then walk right into it. 1, 2, 1, 2. But wait, if that's too fast for a first reading, no problem. Slow it down, but still walk right into that pulse. 1, 2, 1, 2. So what we're looking at here is not how fast the tempo is. It can be fast, it can be slow, but playing into the rhythmic pulse. That is what makes sight reading so much easier. If you need to use a metronome to stay on track, go ahead and use it. And if you're a beginner and you're using Piano Marvel or Faber apps, they have a metronome within the app that you can slow down or speed up as you choose. Keeping a steady rhythm is the first and most important musical skill, and it prepares you for professional rehearsals, where keeping a predictable tempo is what holds the entire group together, and an occasional wrong note here or there will probably not be noticed. After playing through the music the first time, review any rough sections that you encountered, look them over, and then play through it again to smooth it out. I encourage students to play through the music not just once, but 2 or 3 times. And this parlays into what I'll call speed learning. It's a certain skill that's useful in professional situations where quick mastery of new pieces is sometimes required. While playing through a second time, you can now play with more confidence. You could pick up the tempo a bit. If it's a waltz, you can now give it a more captivating swing and make it truly engaging. Now, here's an important point. Students often create obstacles for themselves by constantly looking down at the keyboard to find their next hand position, but that will cause you to lose your place in the music. It disrupts the rhythm and generally drives you crazy. If this is an issue for you, the sight reading publications that I list below start you in very simple and stationary five-finger positions, and then very gradually add more notes and new hand positions to build you up. And this gets you accustomed to keeping your eyes right on the score right from the start. And when reading at a more advanced level, if you feel compelled to locate a note that's 2 or 3 octaves away, go ahead and look, but resist the urge to turn your head and torso in the direction. That's what disorients pianists. Instead, keep your face directly at the score, while your eyes alone make a quick side glance to that part of the keyboard. This technique makes it easier to maintain your place in the score without interruption. Students are often encouraged to look ahead in the music while sight reading. Great idea. Look where? When you can, give a quick side glance to the first beat of the very next measure. That gives you an advanced notice of the direction of the music, perhaps a change in hand position or even a change in key signature or time signature. After a few weeks, this habit of quick side glances to the right will become second nature to you, and over time, you'll be able to take in entire phrases. Every pianist, classical or jazz-oriented, benefits by knowing all the scale patterns so that you can confidently play in any key signature. If you feel unsure about your scales, include them in your daily warm-up routine, playing a different scale each day as you work through the circle of fifths. And every musician benefits by learning to quickly recognize basic chords, such as major, minor, diminished, augmented, as well as seventh chords. Recognizing chords and chord progressions makes your sight reading go so much easier. And recognizing intervals, the distance from one note to another, is absolutely essential, but a mental concept of intervals is not enough. We have to experience the intervals physically in our hands. And only by learning lots of repertoire and daily sight reading do our hands develop that touch-sensitive familiarity with the spatial distances between intervals, as well as the shape and the feel in your hands for a variety of chord positions. Composers use their hands in unique ways at the keyboard and have their preferred sonorities, or what we like to call their sound world. So it's to your advantage to be courageous and explore all types of music and avoid getting stuck in just one style. As you sight read, you will immediately recognize these various types of musical configurations, and that definitely makes your sight reading go easier. Pianists who are raised in a strict classical background often prioritize note-perfect performances, and that's very admirable, but this perfectionism can lead to fearful paralysis when sight reading. In the recording studio, a perfectionist approach is valid, where you can record a piece multiple times to achieve the desired effect. However, sight reading requires an entirely different mindset. It really does, allowing for the possibility of wrong notes here or there. So, embracing a rather loose and freewheeling approach will actually enhance your development. We pianists think with a long-range vision. We think strategically. So, just like building up hand technique, sight reading develops over many weeks and months. So don't judge yourself on a daily basis. That doesn't help you. Simply show up for the process. Include 10 to 15 minutes of sight reading into your daily practice routine, and you will make progress. And a bonus tip, feel free to use plenty of pedaling when sight reading to cover up any awkward gaps in the music that may happen to occur. And here's a second bonus tip, keep your hands and fingertips in close contact with the surface of the keys. This will help you find your next hand position more smoothly. And a third bonus tip, students often focus on small details that can disrupt the flow of the music. For instance, ornaments can sometimes be tricky and trip you up. So I recommend sometimes just dropping the ornaments and just play the primary notes of that melody or that chord. Afterwards, you can re-examine the ornaments if needed. They say that the devil is in the details, and that definitely applies to sight reading. So it's okay to streamline the music if that's what it takes to maintain a smooth forward motion. Feel free to check out the video on your screen above illustrating the benefits of hand-on exercises, with an interesting section in the middle on how to play wrist circles to gain better flexibility. Thank you for sharing your time with me, and we'll meet again in the next video.